What if the woman everyone ignored on the sidewalk turned out to speak the language of the man who humiliated her? One cold night on Madison Avenue, a billionaire made a cruel bet with a poor rose seller, just for fun. But 1 week later, in front of his richest clients, she said something in flawless Japanese that silenced the entire street. And what happened next changed both of their lives forever. Stay with us until the end, as you won't believe what happened next. Please don't forget to comment which country you're listening from, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel. On a cold Manhattan evening, a woman who had long stopped expecting miracles found herself standing at the edge of one. Mary Johnson was 58. Every evening for the past 6 months, she stood outside the same luxury Japanese restaurant on Madison Avenue, Yamamoto House. She sold roses from a dented bucket, her gloved hands red from the wind, her smile polite but invisible. The rich swept past her as if she were part of the pavement. That night, a black BMW slid to the curb, and the man who owned the restaurant, Takashi Yamamoto, billionaire chef, empire builder, and king of New York's fine dining scene, stepped out. His suit was midnight blue, his watch glittered like ice. When his eyes landed on Mary and her roses, something cruel sparked inside him. He smirked. "You again," he said, his voice sharp as a knife. "Still blocking my entrance?" Mary's cheeks flushed. "Sir, I'm just trying to work." "Work?" Taki laughed bitterly, glancing at his waiting dinner guests. A group of Japanese executives in tailored coats. "You call this work?" "Standing outside my restaurant scaring my customers." The executives chuckled politely. Taki thrived on an audience. He raised his voice. "Tell you what," he said, pointing at her bucket. "If you can sell me those roses in perfect Japanese, I'll give you $100,000. The sidewalk erupted in laughter. A crowd began to form. Phones were raised. To them, it was a show, a billionaire mocking a street vendor for sport. But Mary didn't flinch. Her heartbeat thundered, but her gaze stayed steady. She looked straight at him and said clearly, "I accept." The laughter died instantly. Even Taki blinked in disbelief. "Excuse me." "1 week," she said, her voice firm. "1 week from tonight, same time. I'll sell you these roses in Japanese." The executives exchanged glances. One of them, an older man with kind eyes and round glasses, looked at Mary with quiet curiosity. Taki grinned, clapping his hands. "1 week it is, then. A show on Madison Avenue." He turned back to his guests, already bored. Within 20 minutes, he had forgotten her face. But Mary hadn't forgotten a thing. That night, back in her tiny Queens apartment, Mary unlocked the front door after 11 p.m. 2 small rooms, paint peeling, the hum of traffic leaking through thin windows. But to her and her granddaughter, Lily, it was home. The 12-year-old looked up from her homework. "Grandma, you're late." Mary closed the door, her hands still trembling. "Come sit with me, sweetheart," she said softly. "I need to tell you something." They sat together on the old couch. Mary's eyes shimmered as she spoke. "Tonight, the owner of that restaurant, Mr. Yamamoto, made me a bet. He said if I could sell him roses in Japanese, he'd give me $100,000. Lily's mouth fell open. "100,000? But Grandma, you don't speak Japanese." Mary hesitated. Then she stood, went to the bedroom, and knelt by a cracked dresser. From under old sheets, she pulled out a dusty shoebox. Inside were faded notebooks, certificates, and a single yellowed photograph. 2 women smiling in front of a red and white flag. One of them was Mary. The other, a Japanese woman named Keiko Nakamura. "Before you were born," Mary said quietly, "I worked for the Japanese consulate in Los Angeles. I started as a janitor. Keiko was a translator there. She taught me Japanese, lunch breaks, weekends for years. I studied until I was fluent. But 15 years ago, I stopped." "Why?" Lily asked. Mary's voice cracked. "Because when I tried to move up to apply for a real position, they told me I wasn't the right type, that I should stay cleaning floors. They said a woman like me didn't represent the image of the consulate." Lily took her grandmother's hand. "I buried everything that day," Mary said. "But maybe it's time to dig it up again." She opened a notebook filled with elegant Japanese characters. Her lips trembled as she whispered a word she hadn't spoken in 15 years. "Burra," she said softly. "That's how you say Rose." Lily repeated it, smiling. "Burra." Mary smiled back. "We have 7 days, sweetheart. 7 days to remember everything." Every night that week, Mary and Lily studied. The old notebooks came alive again. Hiragana, katakana, kanji, all the scripts Mary once knew by heart. She recited phrases aloud until her tongue stopped stumbling. Lily corrected her pronunciation from YouTube videos. Together they built a speech, poetic, emotional, full of meaning. By Wednesday, Mary's confidence began to return. On Thursday, something unexpected happened. As Mary stood outside Yamamoto House, selling to passers-by, a woman in her 30s approached. She was Japanese-American, elegant but kind-eyed. She bought 3 roses, then hesitated. "Are you the woman my father bet with?" she asked. Mary froze. "Your father?" "Yes. Taki Yamamoto. I'm Aki." Mary didn't know what to say. "I wanted to tell you," Aki said softly. "My father isn't always cruel. He came from Osaka. Poor family. Worked his way up. But he hides it. Tells everyone he's from Tokyo because Osaka sounds less elite." "Why are you telling me this?" Mary asked carefully. Aki smiled faintly. "Because if you speak to him next week, if you really do it, use a little Osaka dialect. It will remind him who he used to be." She pressed a folded $50 bill into Mary's palm. "Good luck," she said and walked away. Mary stood there trembling. Osaka dialect, Kansai-ben. Keiko had taught her that years ago. That night, she rewrote her speech from the beginning. Friday night arrived. The city glittered under neon and drizzle. Crowds spilled from limousines and taxis. At exactly 7:30, a black BMW stopped outside Yamamoto House. Taki stepped out, surrounded by the same 3 executives. He spotted Mary instantly, standing by her bucket, her coat clean, her gray hair tied neatly in a bun. Well, he said, smirking. The Rose Lady kept her word. Phones lifted. The crowd grew again. Taki raised his voice. "Ladies and gentlemen, last week I made a bet. $100,000 if this woman could sell me roses in perfect Japanese. Let's see if she's got more than Google Translate." Laughter. Cameras. Flashing lights. Mary took one deep breath. She looked at the crowd, then at Taki. "I'm ready," she said. Taki crossed his arms. "Go ahead. Impress me." Mary began, softly at first, in the Osaka dialect. Her accent was natural warm. "Good evening," she said in Japanese. "My name is Mary. I brought you roses, red for love, white for new beginnings, and pink for gratitude." The executives straightened. One whispered to the other, astonished. Mary continued, her voice strong now, flawless. Each syllable landed perfectly. She spoke of how, in Japanese culture, roses carry unspoken emotion, passion, respect, and humility. She quoted a haiku Keiko once taught her about flowers blooming through cracks in the city's concrete. The sidewalk went silent. Not a phone beeped, not a word was said. Even traffic seemed to hush. When she finished, she bowed low. And then, applause. Loud, thunderous, unstoppable. The older executive, Mr. Tanaka, stepped forward and bowed deeply. "Your pronunciation is perfect," he said in Japanese. "Your spirit, even more so." Taki stood frozen, color drained from his face. "Pay her," Tanaka said quietly. "You made a promise." Taki fumbled for his phone. Moments later, Mary's old flip phone buzzed. Deposit received, $100,000. The crowd exploded again. Strangers cheered. Mary's knees went weak. Someone caught her arm. Tears streamed down her face. Not of shame, but victory. Taki Yamamoto, the proud billionaire, lowered his head for the first time in years. By morning, the video had gone viral. Millions watched the rose seller who spoke Japanese. TV shows called. Newspapers ran headlines. One read, "The woman who taught a billionaire humility." That same week, Mr. Tanaka visited her apartment. "I represent a Japanese-American import company," he said. "We need a cultural consultant, someone fluent, sensitive, experienced. You will be perfect. Mary stared. Me? I sell roses on the street. He smiled. You're fluent in 2 cultures. And in dignity. That's rare. Mary accepted. Within a month, she and Lily moved into a modest 2-bedroom apartment in Astoria. For the first time in years, they had space, warmth, and peace. But she never went back to Madison Avenue until fate knocked again. One evening, Aki Yamamoto arrived at her door, eyes red from crying. My father wants to see you, she said. He's been different since that night. He closed the restaurant for 3 days. He's apologized to his staff, raised their wages, and stopped drinking. He wants to apologize to you in person. Mary hesitated. I don't know if I want to see him. Aki's voice trembled. Please. You reminded him who he was. Mary finally nodded. All right, tomorrow. The next night, Mary entered the now empty Yamamoto house. Candles glowed on a single table. From the open kitchen came the scent of miso and ginger. Taki appeared. No suit, no arrogance, just an apron and tired eyes. He bowed deeply. Mary-san, he said in Japanese, voice low. Thank you for coming. He set a bowl of soup before her. I made this myself. In Japan, when we seek forgiveness, we cook with our own hands. They ate quietly. Then he spoke. I came to America with nothing. Was humiliated, underpaid, insulted. I promised I'd never be small again. But somewhere on the way up, I became what I hated most. His voice broke. That night, you held up a mirror. You showed me what I'd become. And you saved me from it. Mary's eyes softened. You can't change the past, she said, but you can honor it. That's all any of us can do. He nodded. I renamed the restaurant. It's called Osaka Kitchen now, to remind me where I came from. Mary smiled. For the first time, she believed him. Months passed. Mary thrived at her new job. She was promoted Cultural Relations Coordinator. She no longer whispered Japanese. She taught it to executives, to interns, to anyone who would listen. One afternoon, walking home, she passed Osaka Kitchen. The line stretched around the block. Inside, she saw photos of old Osaka, a younger Taki washing dishes, and a mural of a woman holding roses with a quote beneath. Never underestimate the invisible. She might change your life. Taki spotted her and rushed out, smiling. Mary-san, you came. Come inside. He showed her the restaurant's new heart. Affordable lunch menus, happy staff, community scholarships. He was proud again, but this time, proud of kindness. Then he handed her an envelope. Inside was a $50,000 check. I heard you want to open a flower shop, he said. Not charity, a partnership. You invest your knowledge, I invest my money. 50 to 50. Mary's eyes glistened. Only on one condition, she said. We name it Keiko's Flowers, after the friend who taught me Japanese. Taki bowed. Perfect. 6 months later, Keiko's Flowers and Language Studio opened in Little Tokyo. Beautiful, modest, and full of life. 5 former street vendors now had steady jobs with fair wages. In the corner classroom, Mary taught Japanese for free to anyone who wanted to learn, janitors, waitresses, immigrants with the same hope she once had. One afternoon, a young cleaning woman entered shyly. Are the Japanese classes really free? Mary smiled warmly. Yes, anyone can learn here. The woman's eyes filled with tears. I've always wanted to. I just never had the chance. Mary took her hand. Then you start Monday. And remember, you're not invisible. None of us are. Through the window, New York shimmered in the late sun. Loud, chaotic, alive. And for the first time, Mary felt truly seen. How many times have we judged someone without truly seeing who they are inside? Please share your thoughts and opinions in the comments below, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel. Thank you for tuning in to Hopeful Voices.